Please, not tonight.
The words came out broken. Elara's fingers locked onto the table edge. Her hands shook. She stared right at him, the one thing everyone said never to do, but she did it anyway.
I'm asking you to stop.
No.
Just for once, let me go.
The man didn't move. He picked up his glass and set it down. The sound cut through the quiet restaurant like a gunshot. He had heard her beg every night this week. Every night he gave the same answer. Nothing. Rocco Vale sat across from her like a statue. The coffee shop had closed an hour ago. The lights were dim. The espresso machine was off. Outside, Chicago's downtown streets were empty except for a few cars passing by. Inside, the air smelled like coffee grounds and cleaning solution. Rocco didn't belong here. A man like him, thick neck, dead eyes, expensive suit, should be in a mansion or a warehouse, not in a small restaurant at midnight, not sitting with a waitress who made minimum wage. But here he was. Every single night. Same table in the back corner. Always her. Elara Quinn had worked at the restaurant for 2 years. She knew how to smile at customers. She knew how to remember orders. She knew how to stay quiet when rich people talked too loud about things she wasn't supposed to hear. That last skill was the problem. She noticed things, small things. A man's voice going up at the end of a sentence when he should sound confident. A woman looking left when she talked about her husband. A business partner touching his collar 3 times during a pitch. Elara grew up learning to read people. Her mom had been a poker dealer. Her dad ran cons before he disappeared. Reading people wrong meant you didn't eat. It meant the landlord kicked you out. It meant you trusted the wrong person and paid for it. So Elara learned. She just never thought it would matter outside of survival. 3 months ago, a man came to meet Rocco. The man wore an expensive watch. He smiled a lot. He had numbers on paper that looked good. Rocco's men nodded along. Everyone seemed relaxed. Except the man's jaw twitched when he mentioned delivery dates. Just once. Elara was pouring water. Her hand stopped mid-pour. She looked at the man's mouth. The corner moved wrong. The smile didn't match the words. Rocco saw her freeze. He didn't say anything then. The meeting ended, everyone shook hands. The man left. 2 days later, Elara heard the man had disappeared. 3 weeks after that, federal agents raided a warehouse on the south side. The news said they found enough evidence to put away a major crime boss. They said someone had been feeding them information. They said it was the biggest bust in 5 years. Rocco should have gone to prison. He didn't. Because the deal never happened. Because Elara's hand had stopped pouring water. That's when the nightly meetings started. Not threats, not violence, not the things people expected from a man like Rocco Vale. Training. Every night at midnight, Rocco made Elara sit across from him. He brought different people to the restaurant, business partners, lawyers, accountants, men who smiled too much and women who spoke too carefully. Watch, Rocco said, tell me what you see. At first, Elara thought she could refuse. She told him she was tired. She told him she had a morning shift. She told him she needed to sleep. Rocco just looked at her. Not angry, not violent. Just waiting. So she sat. She watched a man talk about real estate. His hands moved too much when he mentioned property values. Rocco made her describe every movement, every pause, every breath. She watched a woman discuss restaurant suppliers. The woman's foot tapped twice when Rocco asked about delivery schedules. Elara had to explain why that mattered. She watched person after person walk through that door, and Rocco forced her to dissect every microreaction like a surgeon cutting into flesh. Again, he said when she got something wrong. Again, he said when she missed a detail. Again. The sessions lasted hours. Elara stopped going out with friends. She missed her sister's birthday. She showed up to her morning shifts with circles under her eyes so dark that customers asked if she was sick. She was sick. Sick of this. Sick of him. Sick of being trapped in something she never asked for. But Rocco never touched her, never raised his voice, never did any of the things monsters were supposed to do. That made it worse, because she couldn't hate him the way she wanted to, couldn't paint him as the villain, couldn't make sense of why a man who ruled through fear spent every night teaching instead of terrorizing. The restaurant felt smaller every night. The walls seemed to close in. The table between them felt like a prison cell. Tonight was different. Tonight, Elara had decided to fight back. "You're destroying me," she said. Her voice was louder now. "I can't keep doing this. I have a life, I have bills, I have people who need me." Rocco's eyes stayed on hers. He didn't blink. "You think this is about you," he said. His voice was quiet, calm, the kind of calm that made your stomach drop. "Everything is about you," Elara said. "Your business, your enemies, your survival. I'm just a waitress. I don't want any of this." "You don't get to choose." The words hit like a slap. Elara pushed back from the table. Her chair scraped against the floor. "Watch me." She turned to walk away. "Sit down." 2 words, no anger, no threat. But Elara's legs stopped moving. She hated herself for it, hated that her body obeyed before her brain could catch up, hated that she was scared of a man who had never hurt her. She sat back down. Rocco leaned forward. His elbows rested on the table, his hands folded together. "You saved my life," he said. "That man 3 months ago, the one with the twitchy jaw, he was setting me up. Federal wire, undercover agent, he had everything ready. If that deal went through, I'd be in a cell right now." Elara didn't say anything. "You don't understand what you did," Rocco continued. "You looked at him for 5 seconds and saw what 20 of my men missed. You have a gift. I don't want it. Doesn't matter, you have it. And now other people know you have it." The room got colder. "What does that mean?" Elara asked. Rocco didn't answer right away. He picked up his glass again, took a slow sip, set it down with that same heavy sound. "It means you're not safe," he said. "It means people like me, people worse than me, will want to use you or kill you. Depends on how useful you are." Elara's chest tightened. "So you're protecting me." "I'm preparing you." "For what?" Rocco stood up. He was tall, broad, the kind of man who took up space just by existing. "For when I'm gone," he said. Then he walked out. Left Elara sitting alone in the empty restaurant with her heart racing and her mind spinning, and absolutely no idea what he meant. The door clicked shut behind him. The clock on the wall ticked. Outside, a car alarm went off and then stopped. Elara sat there for 10 minutes before she could move again. When she finally stood up, her legs felt like water. She grabbed her jacket, turned off the last light, locked the front door. The street outside was quiet, too quiet. She walked fast toward her apartment 6 blocks away. Every shadow felt like it was moving. Every sound made her look over her shoulder. Halfway home, she saw a man standing under a streetlight. He was watching her. Tall, clean suit, hands in his pockets. He smiled when she noticed him. Not a friendly smile. The kind of smile that said he knew something she didn't. Elara crossed the street, walked faster. When she looked back, he was gone. But the feeling in her gut stayed. The feeling that said Rocco wasn't lying. The feeling that said her life had already changed, and there was no going back. She got home, locked the door, put a chair against it. Sat on her couch in the dark. And for the first time since this whole thing started, Elara understood. She wasn't being punished. She was being tested. But for what? Elara's alarm went off at 6 in the morning. She didn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw that man under the streetlight. That smile. That calm, patient way he watched her like he had all the time in the world. She dragged herself out of bed, put on her work uniform, made coffee she didn't drink. Her phone buzzed. A text from her manager. "Can you cover the lunch shift too?" Sarah called out sick. Elara wanted to say no, wanted to quit, wanted to pack a bag and leave Chicago and never look back. Instead, she texted, "Sure." Because rent was due in a week. Because her little sister needed money for textbooks. Because running away required money she didn't have. She walked to the restaurant. The morning was cold. Gray clouds covered the sky. The street smelled like exhaust and garbage. The restaurant looked normal, clean windows, warm lights inside. A couple sitting by the window drinking coffee and reading the newspaper. Everything looked safe. But Elara couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She worked the morning shift on autopilot, smiled at customers, took orders, brought food, cleaned tables. At noon, a man walked in. Expensive suit, perfect hair, bright smile. He sat at a table near the back, ordered a coffee and a sandwich, pulled out his phone and started typing. Elara brought his coffee. "Thank you," he said. His voice was smooth, polite. She nodded and walked away. But something felt wrong. She glanced back at him while wiping down another table. His smile was still there, too big, too friendly. His foot tapped under the table 3 times, then stopped. Elara's stomach dropped. She finished her shift, went to the back room, changed out of her uniform. When she came back out, the man was still there. Still smiling. Still watching. She walked past his table toward the door. "Elara Quinn," he said. She stopped. He knew her name. She turned slowly. The man stood up, extended his hand. "Calder Hume, I've heard a lot about you." Elara didn't shake his hand. Calder lowered it. His smile didn't fade. "I own several businesses in the city, real estate, hospitality, consulting. I'm always looking for people with unique skills." "I'm a waitress," Elara said. "You're much more than that." Her pulse was racing. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Of course you don't." Calder pulled out a business card, set it on the table. "When you're ready to have a real conversation, call me." He walked out. Elara stared at the card. It was plain, white, just his name and a phone number. She grabbed it and shoved it in her pocket. That night, Rocco was waiting at the usual table. Elara walked over and slammed the card down in front of him. "Who is he?" she asked. Rocco picked up the card, looked at it, set it back down. "Trouble," he said. "That's not an answer. Calder Hume runs half the legitimate businesses in Chicago. On paper, he's clean, donates to charities. shakes hands with politicians, gets his picture in the newspaper. And off paper, he's worse than me. Elara sat down. How? Rocco leaned back. I break rules. Everyone knows it. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. Calder. He hides behind lawyers and shell companies. He destroys people and makes it look legal. He's been trying to take over my operations for 2 years. What does he want with me? Same thing I want, your eyes. Elara's hands curled into fists. I'm not a tool. You are to him. And to you. Rocco didn't answer. The silence stretched. Finally he said, Calder's making a move. Soon. He's been planting people in my organization, feeding information to the feds. He wants me gone so he can take everything. Then leave, disappear, let him have it. I can't. Why not? Rocco's eyes locked onto hers. Because if I leave, the people who work for me, the ones who aren't traitors, will get swallowed up. Their families, their lives. Calder doesn't just take over, he erases. I've seen him do it. Elara's anger was building. And what does that have to do with me? You can see things I can't. You spotted that undercover agent. You've spotted inconsistencies in 3 other meetings since then. You're the only person I trust right now. I didn't ask for this. I know. I hate you for doing this to me. I know. Elara stood up. Find someone else. She turned to leave. He'll come for you anyway, Rocco said. She stopped. Calder knows about you now, Rocco continued. He knows you're connected to me. Even if you walk away, he'll see you as a threat or an asset. Either way, you're not safe. Elara's voice shook. Then what do I do? You learn, you get better, you survive. And if I don't want to? Rocco stood up, walked around the table, stood in front of her. He was close enough that she could smell his cologne, see the small scar above his left eyebrow. Then you die, he said quietly, and I can't stop that. He walked past her, out the door, into the night. Elara stood there alone again. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You should have taken my offer, see. Her hands started shaking. She looked at the windows, saw her reflection, saw the empty restaurant behind her. And for the first time, she understood what Rocco had been trying to tell her. This wasn't about training. This was about survival. She deleted the text, put her phone away. Walked to the back room, grabbed her coat. When she came back out, there was a man sitting at Rocco's table. Not Rocco. Not Calder. Someone new. He was young, maybe 30, casual clothes, wedding ring on his left hand. We're closed, Elara said. The man looked up. I know, I'm here for Rocco. He left. Then I'll wait. Elara's instinct screamed. Something was off. The man's posture was too relaxed. His hands rested on the table, but his right index finger kept tapping. Morse code rhythm. 3 short, 3 long, 3 short. SOS. Elara's mouth went dry. What's your name? She asked. Marcus. What do you do for Rocco? Accounting. How long? 4 years. His finger kept tapping. Tap, 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 tap. You should leave, Elara said. Marcus stood up. Tell Rocco I came by. He walked to the door, stopped, looked back. You're good, he said, better than he said. Then he left. Elara pulled out her phone, called Rocco. He answered on the first ring. Marcus just came by, she said. Silence. What did he do? Rocco asked. Sat at your table, said he'd wait, but his finger was tapping, SOS pattern over and over. More silence. Then get out of there, now. What's happening? Elara, leave, don't go home, don't go anywhere you normally go. I'll call you in 20 minutes. He hung up. Elara grabbed her things, ran out the back door into the alley. The night air hit her face. She ran. Didn't look back. Didn't stop until she reached a convenience store 4 blocks away. She went inside, bought a coffee she didn't want, sat in the corner where she could see the door. Her phone rang. Rocco. Where are you? He asked. She told him. Stay there, I'm sending someone. Who? Someone I trust. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. Don't leave until they arrive. They'll say the word foundation. That's how you know it's safe. Rocco. Marcus is dead. The words punched the air out of her lungs. What? They killed him 2 hours ago. What you saw was someone wearing his face. Elara's vision blurred. That's not possible. It is when you have enough money and the right contacts. Calder's sending a message. He knows I'm training you. He's showing me he can get close whenever he wants. I can't do this. You have to. No, I don't. I can call the police, I can. The police can't help you. Half of them are on Calder's payroll. You call them, you're signing your own death warrant. Elara wanted to scream. Instead, she whispered, Why me? Because you're the only person who can stop him. I'm nobody. Not anymore. The line went dead. Elara sat in that convenience store for 30 minutes. A woman walked in, mid-40s, jeans and a jacket. She bought a pack of gum. Walked over to Elara's corner. Foundation, she said. Elara stood up. The woman handed her a key. Address is on the tag. Stay there tonight. Don't tell anyone where you are. Who are you? Someone who used to be where you are now. The woman left. Elara looked at the key. The address was for a motel on the outskirts of the city. She took a taxi, paid cash, checked into room 12. Locked the door, put the chain on, pushed the dresser against it. Sat on the bed. And cried. Not because she was scared. Because she was angry. Angry that her life had been stolen. Angry that she had no choice. Angry that Rocco was right. She wasn't safe. She would never be safe again. Unless she learned to fight back. The motel room smelled like cigarettes and mold. Elara sat on the bed until sunrise. Didn't sleep. Just stared at the wall and listened to trucks pass on the highway outside. Her phone buzzed at 7 in the morning. Rocco, meet me at the warehouse on 5th and Cicero. 1 hour. She didn't want to go. She went anyway. The warehouse was old. Brick walls covered in graffiti, broken windows, a rusted fence around the perimeter. Rocco was waiting inside. So were 3 other people. 2 men, 1 woman. They all looked hard, tired, like they'd seen too much and stopped caring. These are the people I trust, Rocco said. This is Elara. The woman nodded, heard about you. What is this? Elara asked. War room, Rocco said. Calder's making his move. We have maybe a week before everything falls apart. I need you sharp. I need you focused. I need to go home. You don't have a home anymore. Not until this is over. One of the men spoke up. His voice was rough. She's a liability. She's not trained. She's going to get someone killed. She's the only reason I'm still standing, Rocco shot back. She spotted 3 plants in the last month, 3 people who would have destroyed us. The man didn't look convinced. Rocco ignored him, turned to Elara. Calder's hosting a charity dinner tomorrow night. Big event. Politicians, business owners, media. He's going to make a public move, announce something that puts pressure on me. What does that have to do with me? You're going to be there. Elara laughed. It came out bitter. I'm a waitress. I don't get invited to charity dinners. You do now. Rocco handed her an envelope. Invitation, dress, everything you need. You're going as my guest. Absolutely not. It's not a request. You can't force me. Rocco stepped closer. His voice dropped. Calder sent someone wearing a dead man's face to threaten you. He knows where you work. He knows where you live. He probably knows where your sister goes to school. Elara's blood went cold. You want to protect her, Rocco continued. You want to protect yourself. Then you show up tomorrow night. You watch Calder. You tell me what you see, and we end this before it gets worse. And if I say no, then you run, you disappear, you change your name, and you hope Calder never finds you. Elara looked at the envelope in her hand. Inside was an invitation printed on expensive paper, a black dress in her size, a pair of shoes. She hated how well he knew her. What am I supposed to do at this dinner? She asked. Sit, watch, listen. Calder will be performing. He'll have his people there. You'll see things they don't think anyone will notice. You tell me what you see. I handle the rest. The woman spoke up. She needs protection. She'll have it, Rocco said. From who? Me. The room went quiet. Elara looked at the 3 people standing with Rocco. They all looked skeptical, like they didn't believe she could do this. She wasn't sure she believed it either. But she thought about her sister, about the man under the streetlight, about Marcus or whoever that was tapping SOS on the table. Fine, she said, I'll go. Rocco nodded. Good, we leave at 7 tomorrow night. Elara left the warehouse, took a taxi back to the motel. Spent the day packing, trying to eat, failing. The next evening, a car picked her up. Black sedan, tinted windows, driver who didn't speak. She wore the dress Rocco gave her. It fit perfectly. Black, simple, elegant. She felt like she was going to throw up. The car pulled up to a hotel downtown, the kind of place Elara had only seen in movies. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, people in suits and gowns walking in like they owned the world. Rocco was waiting at the entrance. He wore a tailored suit, looked almost respectable. Almost. You clean up well, he said. Don't. He offered his arm. Stay close. Don't talk unless someone asks you a direct question. Watch everyone, especially Calder. They walked inside. The ballroom was massive. Round tables covered in white cloth. Centerpieces made of flowers Elara couldn't name. A stage at the front with a microphone and a podium. People were everywhere, laughing, drinking, shaking hands. Elara felt like an imposter. Rocco guided her to a table near the middle. They sat down. A waiter brought champagne. Elara didn't drink it. She scanned the room instead. And then she saw him. Calder Hume. He stood near the stage, surrounded by people, smiling that same too bright smile. He was talking to a woman in a red dress, A man in a gray suit, a younger guy who looked nervous. Elara watched. Calder's hands moved when he talked, open palms, welcoming gestures. But his eyes didn't match. They were sharp, calculating. He laughed at something the woman said, touched her arm, leaned in close. His left foot shifted back half a step, creating distance while pretending to be close. Elara's pulse quickened. She leaned toward Rocco. He's lying to the woman in red. How do you know? His body is pulling away while his words pull her in. He's performing. Rocco didn't react, just took a sip of his drink. Keep watching. The lights dimmed. Someone stepped up to the podium, introduced Calder. The crowd applauded. Calder walked to the stage, all smiles. He started talking about charity, about helping the community, about making Chicago a better place for everyone. The crowd ate it up. But Elara watched his hands. Every time he mentioned specific projects, his right hand touched his tie. 3 times in 5 minutes. Self-soothing gesture. He was stressed. Why? The speech ended, more applause. Calder stepped down from the stage and looked directly at Rocco, then at Elara. He smiled, walked over. Rocco, he said warmly, extended his hand. Rocco shook it. Calder, I didn't expect to see you here. I support the community. Calder laughed. Of course you do. His eyes shifted to Elara. And who is this? A friend, Rocco said. Charming. Calder extended his hand to her. Elara shook it. His grip was firm, warm. His thumb pressed against her wrist, checking her pulse. Testing her. Elara Quinn, he said, I'm glad you decided to join us after all. She didn't respond. He released her hand, turned back to Rocco. We should talk soon about the future. I'm busy. I'm sure you are. Calder's smile didn't fade, but the future happens whether you're ready or not. He walked away. Elara's heart was pounding. He knows, she whispered. Knows what? That I'm watching him. Rocco's jaw tightened. Good. Good. He thinks you're a threat. That means you are. The rest of the dinner blurred. Speeches, toasts, fake laughter. Elara watched Calder the entire time. Saw him talk to a judge, a city councilman, a woman who ran a nonprofit. Every conversation looked innocent. But Calder's body told a different story. Tension in his shoulders when he talked to the judge. Eyes darting to the exit when the councilman mentioned investigations. A forced smile when the nonprofit director asked about donations. He was worried. Why? At the end of the night, Rocco walked Elara back to the car. What did you see? He asked. He's scared. Something's happening that he didn't plan for. What? I don't know, but whatever it is, it's big. He's holding it together, but barely. Rocco nodded, pulled out his phone, sent a text. What are you doing? Elara asked. Pushing. Pushing what? Him. If he's scared, I want him terrified. The car pulled away from the hotel. Elara looked out the window, watched the city lights blur past. And in the reflection of the glass, she saw something that made her stomach drop. Another car was following them. Rocco. He looked up from his phone, saw what she saw. Hold on. The driver accelerated. So did the car behind them. Elara gripped the door handle. The driver turned sharp, down a side street, through an alley. The other car stayed close. Rocco pulled out a gun. Elara's breath stopped. "Stay down," he said. The car swerved again, tires screaming. And then, silence. The other car was gone. Elara sat up slowly, looked back. Empty street. "What just happened?" she asked. Rocco put the gun away. "A test." "From who?" "Calder." "Why?" Rocco looked at her. "Because he's deciding whether to kill you or recruit you." Elara's hands were shaking. They drove the rest of the way in silence. Dropped her off at the motel. "Get some sleep," Rocco said. "Tomorrow things get worse." "How can they get worse?" Rocco didn't answer. The car drove away. Elara went inside, locked the door. Sat on the bed. Her phone buzzed. "Unknown number, you're better than I expected. Let's talk alone, see." She stared at the message. And for the first time since this started, Elara realized something. Rocco wasn't preparing her to survive. He was preparing her to choose. Between him and Calder. Between two monsters who both wanted to use her. And whatever choice she made, someone was going to die. The phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Elara stared at it on the motel nightstand. Calder's message glowed on the screen. "You're better than I expected. Let's talk. Alone." She didn't respond. Instead, she called Rocco. He answered before the first ring finished. "Did he contact you?" Rocco asked. "How did you know?" "Because that's what he does. He sees something he wants, he goes after it." Elara sat up. "What do I do?" "Nothing. Ignore it. He's testing you." "And if I don't ignore it?" "Silence." Then you're choosing him over me." "This isn't about choosing sides. This is about staying alive." "It's the same thing." Rocco's voice was flat. "Meet me at the warehouse in an hour. We need to talk." He hung up. Elara got dressed, left the motel, took a taxi to the warehouse on 5th and Cicero. Rocco was already inside. So were the same 3 people from before. But this time there were others. 7 people total, all sitting around a large table covered in papers and laptops. "What is this?" Elara asked. "The plan," Rocco said. He pointed to a chair. "Sit." She sat. Rocco stood at the head of the table. "Calder's making his move in 3 days. He's filing federal complaints against 6 of my businesses, claims money laundering, tax evasion, racketeering. He's been building the case for months." One of the men spoke up. "We have proof he's behind it." "Elara does." Everyone looked at her. She shook her head. "I don't have proof. I just saw him acting weird at the dinner." "You saw him stressed," Rocco corrected. "You saw him lying to people he should trust. You saw him checking exits. That's not normal behavior for a man who's supposed to be confident." The woman from before leaned forward. "That's not proof, that's observation." "Observation is all we need," Rocco said. "Calder thinks he's untouchable because he hides behind paperwork and lawyers. But he's still human. He still makes mistakes when he's under pressure." "So what's the plan?" another man asked. Rocco pointed to Elara. "She meets with him." The room erupted. "No way. She'll get killed. This is insane." Rocco raised his hand. The room went quiet. "Calder wants to recruit her," he said. "He thinks she'll turn on me because I've been forcing her to do this. He thinks she hates me. He's not wrong." Elara's jaw tightened. She meets with him, Rocco continued. She listens to his offer. She watches him. She tells us what she sees. Then we know his next move. And if he hurts her, the woman asked. He won't, not yet, she's too valuable. Elara stood up. I'm not doing this. Yes, you are. You can't make me. Rocco walked around the table, stopped in front of her. You want to know why I've been training you, why I spend every night teaching you to read people? Because you're using me. Because you're the only person who can stop him. Rocco's voice was low, controlled. Calder has been destroying lives for 15 years. He takes over businesses, forces people out, ruins families, and he does it all legally. The courts can't touch him. The feds can't touch him, but you can. I'm a waitress. You're a weapon. The words hit like a punch. You see things, Rocco said. You see when people lie, when they're scared, when they're about to betray someone. Calder can't hide from that. He can hire lawyers. He can buy judges. But he can't control his own body when he's under pressure. Elara's hands were shaking. What happens after I meet him? You tell me what you see. I make a move. Calder goes down. And if it doesn't work? Rocco didn't answer. The woman spoke up. She needs a way out. If things go bad, she needs protection. She'll have it, Rocco said. From who? All of us. The room was quiet. Elara looked at the faces around the table. These people didn't trust her. They didn't know her. But they were willing to risk everything because Rocco said so. She sat back down. When do I meet him? She asked. Rocco pulled out his phone, typed something, sent it. 10 seconds later, Elara's phone buzzed. Calder tomorrow, noon, Navy Pier, just you and me. Elara showed Rocco the message. He nodded. Perfect. Perfect? He's choosing a public place with hundreds of people. How is that perfect? Because he wants you to feel safe. He's going to charm you, make you think he's the good guy, make you think I'm the monster. Aren't you? Rocco's eyes locked onto hers. Yes, but I'm honest about it, he's not. The meeting ended. Rocco drove Elara back to the motel. They didn't talk. When they pulled up, Elara reached for the door handle. Wait, Rocco said. She stopped. He pulled something out of his jacket, a small device, looked like a button. Wear this tomorrow, he said. Pin it inside your jacket. If things go wrong, press it. We'll be there in 2 minutes. Elara took the button. You're going to be watching. The whole time. What if he knows? He won't. Calder thinks he's smarter than everyone. That's his weakness. Elara got out of the car. Rocco rolled down the window. Elara. She turned. Don't trust him, no matter what he says, no matter how good it sounds. He will destroy you if it benefits him. How is that different from you? Rocco didn't answer. He drove away. Elara went inside, locked the door. Spent the night staring at the ceiling. The next morning came too fast. She got dressed, jeans, t-shirt, jacket with the button pinned inside. Took a taxi to Navy Pier. The place was crowded. Families, tourists, street performers. The smell of popcorn and hot dogs filled the air. Elara walked to the spot Calder mentioned, a bench near the Ferris wheel. He was already there. Casual clothes, sunglasses, coffee in his hand. He smiled when he saw her. Elara, thank you for coming. She sat down, kept distance between them. I wasn't sure I would, she said. Calder laughed. I understand Rocco can be persuasive. He's been forcing me to work for him. I know, that's why I wanted to talk. Calder turned to face her. I want to offer you a way out. A way out. A real life. A job that pays well, security, freedom. No more late-night meetings, no more fear. Elara didn't respond. Calder continued. I run legitimate businesses, I help people, I build communities. Rocco tears them down. You've seen what he does. You know what kind of man he is. And what kind of man are you? Calder smiled. The kind who gives people second chances. He pulled out a folder, handed it to her. Elara opened it. Inside were papers, a job offer, consultant position, salary that made her eyes widen. This is real, she asked. Completely. You'd work for my company. Use your skills to help us make better decisions. No danger, no threats, just honest work. Elara looked at the papers. Everything looked legitimate. But Calder's left hand was tapping on his knee. 3 times. Stop. 3 times again. He was lying. What's the catch? Elara asked. Calder's smile didn't fade. No catch. I just need to know you're serious about leaving Rocco behind. And if I'm not, then you stay trapped in his world until it destroys you. Elara closed the folder, set it on the bench between them. I need time to think. Calder nodded. Of course, but don't take too long. Rocco's world is collapsing. In 3 days, federal agents will arrest half his organization. Anyone connected to him will go down too. Including me. Unless you're working with me. There it was. The threat wrapped in kindness. Elara stood up. I'll think about it. Calder stood too, extended his hand. She shook it. His grip was firm, too firm. Choose wisely, he said. Elara walked away. Didn't look back. Got in a taxi. Pulled out her phone. Texted Rocco, done. His response came immediately. What did you see? Elara, he's lying. The job offer is fake. He's going to use me to take you down, then get rid of me. Rocco, good. Meet me at the warehouse. Elara told the driver the address. 20 minutes later, she walked into the warehouse. Rocco and his people were waiting. Tell us everything, Rocco said. Elara described the meeting, the job offer, Calder's tapping hand, the threat about federal arrests. The woman spoke up. So he's moving in 3 days. That's what he said. Rocco nodded. Then we move first. How? One of the men asked. Rocco looked at Elara. You're going to accept his offer. Her stomach dropped. What? You call him, tell him you're in. You want the job, you're done with me. He'll know I'm lying. No, he won't, because you're going to believe it when you say it. Elara shook her head. I can't do that. Yes, you can. You've been reading people for months. You know how to mirror them. You know how to make them believe what you want them to believe. That's different. It's not. Rocco stepped closer. You call Calder, you accept the job, you meet with him tomorrow, and you wear a wire. The room went silent. A wire, Elara whispered. We need proof, Rocco said. Proof that he's planning to frame me. Proof that he's working with corrupt feds. Proof that he's the real criminal. You get him talking, you get him comfortable, and you record everything. And if he finds the wire? He won't. How do you know? Because he thinks he's already won. Elara looked around the room. Everyone was watching her. Waiting. She thought about her sister, about the life she used to have, about the waitress job that felt like a lifetime ago. She thought about Rocco, about Calder, about two men who both wanted to use her. And she realized something. She was tired of being used. "I'll do it," she said, "but not for you." Rocco raised an eyebrow. "Then who?" "For me, because I'm done letting people like you and Calder control my life." Rocco almost smiled. "Fair enough." The next hour was preparation. They fitted Elara with a small recording device, invisible, sewn into the lining of her jacket. They coached her on what to say, how to act, how to get Calder talking. "Make him feel smart," the woman said. "Ask him questions, let him brag. Men like him can't help themselves." Elara nodded. At 5 o'clock she called Calder. He answered immediately. "Elara, I was hoping to hear from you." "I've made my decision," she said. "I want the job." Silence. "Then I'm glad. When can you start?" "Tomorrow, but I want to meet first. Go over the details." "Of course, my office, 10 in the morning." "I'll be there." She hung up. Rocco was watching her. "You did good." "I feel sick." "That means you're doing it right." That night, Elara couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about what could go wrong. The wire failing. Calder finding it. Rocco's plan falling apart. Her ending up dead. But when morning came, she got dressed anyway. Took a taxi to Calder's office downtown. The building was tall, glass and steel, the kind of place that screamed money and power. She rode the elevator to the 20th floor. Calder's assistant greeted her, led her to his office. The office was massive, windows overlooking the city, expensive furniture, art on the walls. Calder stood when she entered. "Elara, welcome." She shook his hand. He gestured to a chair. She sat. "I'm glad you chose to join us," Calder said. "I think you'll find this is the right decision." "I hope so." Calder sat behind his desk. "Let's go over your responsibilities. You'll be analyzing business deals, looking for risks, red flags, things that could hurt us down the line." "Sounds simple." "It is. Your first assignment starts today, actually. I need you to review a partnership proposal. Tell me if the people involved are trustworthy." He slid a folder across the desk. Elara opened it. Inside were documents, names she recognized, Rocco's people. Her pulse quickened. "This is about Rocco," she said. Calder smiled. "Smart girl, yes. I need to know who in his organization is willing to flip, who's loyal, who's scared. You help me figure that out and we can dismantle him without violence. And if they don't flip, then they go down with him." Elara looked at the names. People she'd met, people who trusted Rocco. "What happens to them?" she asked. "Prison if they're lucky. And if they're not?" Calder's smile faded. "Then they disappear." There it was. The truth. Elara kept her face neutral. "When do you need this done?" 2 days. "I'll get started." Calder stood, extended his hand again. Elara shook it. "Welcome to the team," he said. She left his office. Took the elevator down. Walked 2 blocks. Got in a waiting car. Rocco was in the back seat. "Did you get it?" he asked. Elara pulled out the recording device, handed it to him. He plugged it into a laptop. Listened. His face stayed blank. When the recording finished, he looked at her. You did it. Is it enough? More than enough. He admitted to planning violence, to targeting my people, to working outside the law. This destroys him. Elara leaned back. So what now? Now we give this to the right people, the ones who aren't on his payroll, and we watch him fall. And then Rocco looked out the window. Then I disappear. Elara's eyes widened. What? I'm done this life, this fight. I've been planning it for months. Once Calder goes down, I'm gone. Where? Somewhere far away, somewhere quiet. And your people? They'll be fine, better than fine. I've been setting things up. Clean businesses, legal operations. They don't need me anymore. Elara didn't know what to say. Rocco turned to face her. You saved my life twice now, first with that undercover agent, now with Calder. I owe you more than I can repay. You don't owe me anything. Yes, I do. He pulled out an envelope, handed it to her. She opened it. Inside was a check, more money than she'd ever seen. What is this? Payment for everything. Use it to start over, go to school, move somewhere new, whatever you want. Elara stared at the check. Why are you doing this? She asked. Rocco was quiet for a long time. Then, because you reminded me that not everyone in this world is broken, and I wanted to make sure I didn't break you too. The car stopped. They were back at the motel. Elara got out. Rocco rolled down the window. One more thing, he said. Calder's going to come after you when he figures out what happened. Stay low for a few days. Don't go home. Don't contact anyone. I'll let you know when it's safe. And if it's never safe? Rocco almost smiled. Then you use what I taught you, and you survive. The car drove away. Elara stood in the parking lot, holding a check that could change her life, and wondering if any of this was worth it. 3 days later, the news broke. Calder Hume arrested, federal charges, racketeering, bribery, conspiracy to commit murder. The story was everywhere. Elara watched it from a different motel across the city. The news showed footage of Calder being led out of his office in handcuffs, his perfect hair messed up, his suit wrinkled, his face blank. The reporter talked about the investigation, how an anonymous tip led federal agents to evidence of massive corruption, shell companies, offshore accounts, bribes to judges and police. Calder's empire was collapsing. Elara's phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But she did. It's done. Rocco's voice. I saw the news, Elara said. Good, then you know he's finished. What about you? I'm leaving tonight. Wanted to call before I go. Elara sat down on the bed. Where will you go? Somewhere warm, somewhere boring, somewhere I can pretend to be normal. Do you think that's possible? Rocco was quiet. Probably not, but I'm going to try. What about your people? They're taken care of, clean businesses, legal money, they'll be fine. And me? You're free, use the money, build a life, forget all of this. Elara looked at the check sitting on the nightstand. I don't think I can forget. Then remember it, learn from it, be better than me. The line was quiet for a moment. Then Rocco said, Thank you, Elara, for everything. I didn't do it for you. I know, that's why it mattered. He hung up. Elara sat in the motel room for a long time. Then she packed her things, checked out, took a taxi to the bank. deposited the check. Then she called her sister. "Elara, where have you been? I've been trying to reach you for days." "I know, I'm sorry. Things got complicated." "Are you okay?" Elara looked out the taxi window. The city passed by. People walking, cars honking, life continuing like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. "Yeah," she said, "I'm okay." "When are you coming home?" "Soon, but first I need you to pack a bag." "What, why?" "Because we're leaving Chicago." "Leaving? Where are we going?" Elara smiled. "Somewhere better." 2 weeks later, Elara and her sister were in a small apartment in Portland. Quiet neighborhood, good schools nearby, a fresh start. Elara enrolled in college, business degree. She figured she might as well use what she learned. Her sister got a part-time job at a bookstore. She seemed happy. Life was quiet, normal, almost boring. But Elara couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She'd see someone across the street who looked familiar. A car that seemed to follow her home. A man in a coffee shop who stared too long. She told herself she was being paranoid. But she knew better. One night, 3 months after leaving Chicago, someone knocked on her door. Elara looked through the peephole. A woman stood outside, mid-40s, professional clothes, briefcase in hand. Elara opened the door but kept the chain on. "Can I help you?" The woman smiled. "My name is Agent Torres, FBI. I need to talk to you about Rocco Vale and Calder Hume." Elara's stomach dropped. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do. You were the anonymous tipster. You gave us the evidence that put Calder away." "I think you have the wrong person." Agent Torres pulled out a folder, showed Elara a photo. It was her, walking into Calder's office building. "We have security footage," Torres said. "We know you were working with Rocco. We know you wore a wire. We just need you to confirm it." Elara didn't move. "Am I in trouble?" she asked. "No, actually, we want to thank you. Calder was untouchable for years. You gave us what we needed to take him down. So why are you here?" Torres lowered her voice. "Because Calder's lawyers are good. They're building a defense. They're claiming the evidence was obtained illegally. If we can't prove it wasn't, he walks." "What do you need from me?" "Testimony. We need you to testify that you worked with Rocco voluntarily, that the recording was legal, that everything we have is legitimate." Elara's hands were shaking. "And if I don't?" "Then Calder gets out, and he comes after everyone who helped put him away. Including me. Especially you." Elara closed her eyes. She thought about her sister, about the quiet life they were building, about the safety she thought she'd found. All of it was a lie. She was never going to be safe. Not from Calder. Not from Rocco. Not from the world they dragged her into. "When's the trial?" she asked. 2 months. "Will I be protected?" "We'll do everything we can." "That's not an answer." Agent Torres looked her in the eye. "No, it's not, but it's the best I can give you." Elara opened the door, let her in. They talked for 2 hours. Torres explained the trial, the questions they'd ask, the defense Calder's lawyers would use. When she left, Elara sat alone in her apartment. Her sister was at work. The place was quiet. Too quiet. Elara pulled out her phone. Scrolled through her contacts. Found the number Rocco had called from. It was disconnected. Of course it was. She threw the phone on the couch, walked to the window, looked out at the street below, and saw a man standing under a streetlight, watching her building. Her heart stopped. The man was tall, clean suit, hands in his pockets. He looked up, made eye contact, smiled. Not a friendly smile. The kind that said he knew exactly where she was. Elara stepped back from the window, grabbed her phone, called Agent Torres. "He's here," Elara said when Torres answered. "Who's here?" "I don't know, but someone's watching my building." "Stay inside, lock the doors, I'm sending someone." Elara hung up, locked the door, checked the windows, turned off the lights, sat in the dark, waiting. 30 minutes later, there was a knock. "FBI, open up." Elara looked through the peephole. 2 agents stood outside, badges visible. She opened the door. They came in, checked the apartment, looked out the windows. "There's no one out there now," one of them said. "He was there, I saw him." "We believe you, but he's gone." The agents stayed for an hour. Then they left. Told Elara to call if she saw anything else. She didn't sleep that night. Just sat on the couch, watching the door. The next morning, her sister came home. "Elara, what's wrong? You look terrible." Elara didn't know how to explain. So she didn't. "Just tired," she said. Her sister hugged her. "You need to rest. You've been working too hard." Elara hugged her back and realized something. She couldn't protect her sister from this. Not forever. The trial was in 2 months. After that, who knew what would happen? Calder might go to prison for life, or he might walk free. Either way, Elara would never be safe again. She had learned too much, seen too much, become too dangerous. Rocco had tried to prepare her for this, tried to teach her to survive. But survival wasn't enough anymore. She needed to fight back. The next day, Elara called Agent Torres. "I'll testify," she said, "but I need something in return." "What?" "Protection, real protection for me and my sister, new identity, new location, everything." Torres was quiet. "Then I'll see what I can do." "That's not good enough." "It's the best I can offer." Elara hung up. She sat in her apartment, thinking, planning. She had spent months learning to read people, learning to see lies, learning to survive. Now it was time to use those skills for herself. Not for Rocco, not for the FBI. For her. She pulled out her laptop, started researching. Calder's businesses, his associates, his lawyers. She knew how to find patterns, how to see what people tried to hide. If the FBI couldn't protect her, she'd protect herself. 2 months later, the trial began. Elara walked into the courtroom. Calder was there, sitting at the defense table, expensive suit, calm expression. He looked at her, smiled, like they were old friends. Elara didn't smile back. She took the stand, swore to tell the truth. And then she told them everything. The meetings with Rocco, the training, the charity dinner where she watched Calder lie, the recording in his office. Every detail. Calder's lawyers tried to break her, asked about her relationship with Rocco. implied she was a criminal too, suggested the recording was coerced. But Elara had been trained by the best. She stayed calm, answered every question, never broke. The jury watched, listened, believed her. 3 weeks later, the verdict came in. Guilty. On all counts. Calder was sentenced to 30 years. No parole. Elara walked out of the courthouse. Agent Torres was waiting. You did good, Torres said. Is it over? For now. That's not an answer. Torres almost smiled. No, it's not. Elara went back to Portland. Her sister was waiting. Is it done? Her sister asked. Yeah, it's done. Can we stay here now? Elara looked around their small apartment. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. Yeah, she said, we can stay. Life went back to normal. Classes, work, groceries, bills. The things regular people worried about. But Elara wasn't regular anymore. She saw things other people didn't. Noticed patterns. Read faces. Understood when someone was lying. It wasn't a gift. It was a curse. But it was hers. And she learned to live with it. 6 months after the trial, Elara got a letter. No return address. Inside was a single piece of paper. You were right. Some people hold the line between chaos and collapse. You're one of them. Stay sharp. Ah. Elara stared at the letter. Rocco was alive. Somewhere out there. Watching. She burned the letter in the sink. Washed the ashes down the drain. And moved on. Because that's what survivors do. They move on. They build new lives. They refuse to let the past destroy them. Elara finished college. Got a job as a consultant. Used her skills to help businesses avoid bad deals. She was good at it. Better than good. Her sister graduated high school. Got into a good university. Started building her own life. Years passed. Elara stopped looking over her shoulder. Stopped jumping at shadows. Stopped waiting for the next threat. She learned to trust again. To laugh again. To live again. But she never forgot. Never forgot Rocco's lessons. Never forgot Calder's smile. Never forgot the nights in that empty restaurant when she begged to be free. Because those nights taught her something important. Sometimes the people who look dangerous are the ones trying to save you. Sometimes the people who look safe are the ones trying to destroy you. And sometimes the only person you can trust is yourself. Elara built a good life. A quiet life. A life where she chose who to help and who to walk away from. A life on her own terms. And when people asked about her past, she smiled and said, "It's not important." Because it wasn't. Not anymore. What mattered was the future. What mattered was the person she had become. Strong. Smart. Unbreakable. She was no longer the waitress begging to be let go. She was the woman who learned to survive. And that made all the difference. Years later, Elara got a call from Agent Torres. "I thought you want to know," Torres said. "Calder died in prison yesterday, heart attack." Elara didn't feel anything. Not relief. Not sadness. Nothing. "Thanks for telling me," she said. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine." If you ever need anything. I won't, but thanks. Elara hung up, looked out her office window at the city below, and realized something. She had won. Not because Calder was dead, not because Rocco had disappeared, but because she had survived and built something good from the worst time of her life. That night, Elara went home, cooked dinner with her sister, laughed about something stupid on TV, went to bed, and slept peacefully for the first time in years, because she finally understood what Rocco had been trying to teach her. The world was full of monsters. Some wore suits, some ruled through fear, some hid behind smiles and charity dinners. But the real victory wasn't destroying them. It was refusing to become them. It was holding the line. It was surviving with your soul intact. And Elara had done that. She had survived. And that was enough. The next morning, she woke up to a text from an unknown number. "Proud of you, R." Elara stared at the message, then deleted it. Because some chapters need to stay closed. Some people need to stay in the past. And some lessons once learned don't need to be repeated. She got dressed, went to work, helped a small business avoid a partnership that would have destroyed them, saved someone's life without them even knowing. And when she walked home that evening, she didn't look over her shoulder, didn't scan the shadows, didn't search for threats, because she was finally free. Not because the danger was gone, but because she had learned to face it. And that made all the difference. That's the story of the waitress who begged her boss to stop. The story of a woman who learned that sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones that save your life. Sometimes the people who push you the hardest are preparing you for what's coming. And sometimes survival isn't about avoiding danger. It's about learning to walk through it with your eyes wide open. If this story inspired you, if it made you think about the people in your life who push you to be stronger, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have more stories like this coming, stories that challenge you, make you think, and remind you that survival is about more than just staying alive. Drop a comment below. Tell us about a time someone pushed you to be better, even when it hurt. Your story might inspire someone else who's going through their own battle right now. Because that's what we do here. We share, we learn, we survive together. Thanks for being here. See you in the next story.